This conference will now be recorded.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। सुबहान अल्लाह 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 सुबहान अल्लाह, सुबहान अल्लाह, सुबहान अल्लाह। अल्लाहुम्मा लक सुजूदी व ताअती, शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, शुक्रन लिल्लाहि वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। या अली मदद अजीज सर।
या अली मदद, या अली मदद। सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। तमाम दोस्तों को या अली मदद, and thank you for joining us this morning. Such a great morning. We are so blessed with Imam's mercy that we can gather like this, even though we are in different parts of the world. By faith and the murid of the one Imam brings all of us close together on a single platform. When it comes to Imam's Farman, we are all together on one single view. That is a great blessing of the Imam on us. Inshallah, today we will continue to read our Baitul Khayal Farman, which we were reading last week. Let's start with the name of Nur Maulana Shah Karimul Hussaini Hazir Imam. Hazir Imam, Ya Maulae Mehraban, Madad Farma, Alayul Qayyum, Ali Allah, Alayul Qayyum, Ali Allah, Alayul Qayyum, Ali Allah. या मौला, तेरे मुबारक नाम में कितनी शीरीनी है मौला, कितनी लिज्जत है मौला, कि तेरा नाम लेते ही हमारे दिलों में शादमानी, अकूल में नूर की लहर दौड़ने लगती है मौला। या मौलाए मेहरबान, या मौलाए मेहरबान, मदद फरमा, अलैयुल कय्यूम, अली अल्लाह, मदद फरमा। नूर मौलाना शाह करीमुल हुसैनी हाजिर इमाम, तौफीक, ताहीद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला, तौफीक, ताहीद, हिम्मत व यारी मौला। या मौला, अपना मुबारक हाथ हम गरीबों के कंधों पर रखना मौला, ताकि हम तेरे फरामीन को पढ़कर समझकर उस पर चलने की कोशिश कर सके मौला। या मौला मेहरबान, तेरे मुबारक नाम पर सलवात अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ले अला मुहम्मदिन व आले मोहम्मद। हैदराबाद, इंडिया, November 18, 1992, Baitul Khayal Farman. And we were reading that when you think of the Isme Azam, think of a link between you, meaning Murid, and your Imam, the Ali Zaman. That is the link. And Mola say, shorten that link. जब आप इसमें आजम का विचार करें तो आप उसको एक जंजीर की तरह अपने और इमाम के दरमियान में तस्वर करें, और इस लिंक्स को छोटी म छोटी, करीब म करीब shorten the link, link by link, and come closer to the Noor of Ali, Noor of Imam. What a great way of thinking. And I was thinking about this when you take the tasbih and you start from the beginning of tasbih, one by one by one. What you're doing is you are coming closer and closer and closer to the Noor of Imam. That is the same image Imam is giving us. That Isme Azam is like a link between the Murid and the Imam. And if you pull on the link step by step, you will come closer and closer and closer to Imam's Noor. So we will read further into this Farman. The Isme Azam is written like, and then Mola Baba shows, but it is pronounced like, and then Mola Baba tells us how it is written and how it is read. In Arabic, sometime you will find the words, because unlike English, Arabic word can be combined. There are few alphabets which cannot be combined, but most alphabet can be combined together. For example, if you are writing Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Alif and Ra will stay alone, but rest of the word will be combined together. But if you're writing Al-Rahim, then Alif will stay alone and Lam will go with the Rahim. So you see, Ar-Rahman, Alif and Ram, Alif and Ra will stand alone and rest of the word will be combined. But if it was Al-Rahman, then Lam will merge with the rest of the word. So Imam is showing and teaching just like father to the children. Then let me show you how to write this Isme Azam. We were talking about this in our previous session. When someone asks, can we write our Isme Azam? Not only we can, but we should. Because if you cannot imagine, if you cannot picture, how will you engage your thought, your eyes, and your ears? The three functionality of our human being. Because there are five. The fourth one, the breathing, that's continued. It does not disturb you. Unless you were just rushing and running into the Jamaat Khana, you did not get there until like 4:10, 4:15, 4:20, and now you're trying to go, now you're trying to sit in the ibadat. It will take good 5, 10, 15 minutes to catch your breath. Because that's not how a moment supposed to do. The love of the Imam, the love of the Isme Azam, and the love of the Bandagi, the Didar, should be a such that we go there just like when Mola Papa came. We got there like hours before the Didar. I think we can get to Jamaat by 3:30, 3:45. Have enough time to sit, relax, catch your breath. So you can focus. When time comes for the ibadat, time for the didar, you can focus. Just imagine when Mola Baba came. Because you went there early, because you were 100% sure that today you will receive the didar of the Imam. Correct? Just like that. Your iman should be such that every time you go to the ibadat, then Mola Baba is waiting, standing there to give you the didar. Remember the hope, the faith, and the love. And when you do that, now you have three faculties which need to be focused. And this is a question that I cannot even count how many times people have asked. तो यहाँ पर थोड़ा उर्दू के अंदर मैं समझाना चाहूंगा कि हमारी जो फैकल्टीज है, महसूसात है, यानी कि देखने की, सोचने की, सुनने की, बोलने की और सांस लेने की, अगर आप जमात खाने 4 बजे, 4:15 बजे, 4:30 बजे भाग भाग कर जाते हैं तो हो सकता है कि आपकी सांस बिखरी हुई हो, लेकिन ये मोमिन की एट्रीब्यूशन में नहीं आता है। मोमिन तो उसको कहते हैं जो इमाम के इश्क में, इमाम के दीदार के लिए पहले से तैयार होता है। जिस तरह से इमाम तशरीफ फरमा होते हैं तो हम घंटों पहले चले जाते हैं क्योंकि हमें यकीन होता है कि आज मौला दीदार देने वाले हैं। उसी यकीन और मोहब्बत के साथ हमें इबादत के लिए जमात खाने जाना चाहिए। 3:30 पौने 4 बजे तक पहुंच जाए आराम से, ताकि आप रिलैक्स कर सकें, आराम से बैठ सकें और ध्यान लगा सके, ताकि जब 4 बजे का वक्त आए तो आप तैयार हो। अब बच गया 3 महसूसात, 3 फैकल्टीज। उसको किस तरह से इंगेज करें कि हमारे अंदर कोई भी ख्याल ना आए। यही आपका क्वेश्चन था ना, कि हम क्या करें कि हमारे अंदर जो हमें ख्याल तंग करते हैं वो ना आए। उसी के लिए देखिए मौला यहाँ पर फरमाते हैं, लिख कर दिखाते हैं कि इसमें आजम किस तरह से लिखा जाता है। आप अपने इसमें आजम को ढूंढ कर उसको याद कर लें, लिख कर उसको याद कर लें, फिर बेशक आप उसको श्रेड कर दें, लेकिन जब आपके पास वो अल्फाज, वो इसम, वो बोल राइटिंग के अंदर लिखा हुआ होगा तो आप उसका तस्वुर कर सकेंगे। चूंकि आप उसका तस्वुर कर रहे हैं, आपका माइंड प्री ऑक्यूपाइड हो गया, आपका माइंड बिजी हो गया क्या करने में, इसमें आजम को देखने में, सोचने में। आपने अपनी आंखों को इंगेज कर दिया इसमें आजम को देखने में, आपकी सोच को इंगेज कर दिया इसमें आजम को देखने में। अब जब आप अपने अंदर से इसमें आजम को पढ़ेंगे तो उसको सुनने की कोशिश भी कर रहे हैं आप। जब आप अपने अंदर से इसमें आजम पढ़ते हैं तो आप उसको सुनने की कोशिश करें। जब आप उसको सुनने की कोशिश करेंगे, अब आप देखें आपकी नाक अच्छी तरह से ब्रीथ कर रही है, आपकी आंखें बिजी है, आपका ख्याल इसमें आजम को सोचने के लिए बिजी है, आपके कान इसमें आजम को सुन रहे हैं और आपकी जबान इसमें आजम को बोल रही है। आपने अपने तमाम महसूसात को, all your faculties are busy, engaged in rhythm, in oneness with your Isme Azam. That's how you beat the bad thoughts, worldly thoughts. Imam is giving us a way how to do it. It is not me. It is Imam telling you how to do it. And if you look at this Farman on your screen, Imam has shown you. Why would Imam write Isme Azam for you? And he's showing you. So you can keep that Isme Azam, the word, in your mind and engage your thoughts during the ibadat. And then he teaches you how to say that Isme Azam. Another important thing. Let's take the same example as earlier. Ar-Rahman, Al-Rahman, Ar-Rahman, Al-Rahman. Once you know how to pronounce it, and remember our language is not Arabic. If there was a hard Isme Azam, something like Al-Wahidul Kahar, those who doesn't speak Arabic, they would have a hard time pronouncing it correctly or say it in such a rhythm. But believe and put your trust on Imam. If Imam has given you that Isme Azam, if Imam has blessed you with that bowl, then that is the bowl for you. That is the key to your soul. That is the link between you and your Imam. Regardless of how big or hard the Isme Azam is. But if you can concentrate, find your Isme Azam. If you need to, write it down in your privacy when you are alone, in your home, in the middle of the day somewhere, in your privacy, write it down, make an image of that in your mind. Once you have done that, you can share that piece of paper, or you can find that in the Quran or online, and you can imagine that. And once you have that, inshallah, it will help you concentrate on your ibadat. So let's come to the Farman and see what we just said. Is that true according to Imam's Farman? Because that is more important than anything, that it must be in line with Imam's Farman. The Isme Azam is written like, and Imam write it down and show to the Jamaat, but it is pronounced like this. Imam pronounce it for you. It is written like this, but it is pronounced like this. And I already explained how and why, because in Arabic there can be different way of writing it down. It means he who is above all else, above this world, about time, about the universe, about human intellect. He is above all else. He is above all else. meaning the Isme Azam and the name, the attribution of the Imam in that Isme Azam is such a great bowl, Isme Azam, that whatever you image, think, understand, there is another higher meaning sitting behind that. आप जो भी इसमें आजम के लिए सोचेंगे कि इसका ये मतलब है, let's use the same example, Ar-Rahman, that he is so gracious and merciful, but you cannot imagine how gracious and merciful he is, because he is his mercy is over our physical body, physical world, physical time, and anything we can think of. He is above all of that. But our initial understanding must be there that Rahman is the name of Imam. How will come next? Initially, we have to understand when we say Rahman, we are calling upon Ali, Noor-e Ali, Imam-e-Zaman. Baby step, एक एक करके हम ऊपर जाते हैं. तो पहली अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये जरूरी है कि जो भी इसमें आजम का आपको दिया है, जो अभी नाचीज ने बयान किया अल वाहिदुल क़हार, वो भी इमाम ही का नाम है, इमाम ही की एट्रीब्यूशन है. तो ये बात हमें एकदम से याद रखनी चाहिए कि ये इमाम का एक नाम है, उस तक पहुंचने का एक लिंक है, उसको पुकारने के लिए एक इसम है. Let's come a little bit further, and it is through the name of Hazrat Ali, Imam-e-Zaman, but meaning he who is above all else. Meaning we are talking about the Noor-e Ali, not the physical body, not the Ali Murtaza 1400 years ago or Shah Karim today, but we are talking about the Noor. And I'm sorry, that you should seek to bring the light to you, into your heart. Each time you recite that Isme Azam with such a love, जब आप उसको प्यार और मोहब्बत से समझकर उस बोल को पढ़ते हैं, तो उसकी जो मोहब्बत है आपके दिल में, उसकी जो चाहत है, the pleasure and the love of the Imam in your heart instantly will bring you happiness. Just by knowing that Imam has given you his own blessed name, Isme Azam, so you may receive that happiness, that Noor. Bring that into your heart. And we already explained how. How can you do that? That has been explained. If you believe, have that faith on the Imam and the Isme Azam which he has given to you, the blessing, Khana Vadan, the wish that Imam has given to you at the time of Isme Azam, that itself should bring happiness to you in itself. Just sitting. You, you don't have to do anything. Just by sitting in ibadat with that thought and belief should already bring you closer to the Imam and his love and his mercy and his desire and his happiness, his pleasure, his pleasing. You see, Isme Azam and the Ibadat is such a key for Mu'min to open the door to the Batin, the Didar and the Nur of the Imam. Inshallah. Let's read. And it is my fervent prayer that at least once in your life, each one of you should be successful. ये मेरे ambition है, मेरी ख्वाहिश है, minimum, कम से कम, at least once in your lifetime, that Imam said, this is my ambition, that is my wish, that at least in life, once in your lifetime, you will have the desire of the light in your, at least once. You know what that means, right? When someone say, oh, I would like at least once, meaning I would not mind twice or thrice. जब हम कहते हैं कि कम से कम एक मर्तबा, तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है? एक मर्तबा, दो मर्तबा, तीन मर्तबा और ज्यादा. मौला फरमाते हैं कि कम से कम मेरी ख्वाहिश है, मेरी एम्बिशन है, यानी कि मेरी बहुत चाहत है. ये वर्ड जो है वो चाहत के लिए है. मेरी बहुत चाहत है कि आपको कम से कम अपनी जिंदगी में एक मर्तबा, फर्वेंट वर्ड, एक मर्तबा नूर का दीदार हो. And each one of you should be successful. That's Imam's prayer for us. That's Imam's wish for us. Imam is ambition for you. जिस तरह से एक माँ अपने बच्चे को स्कूल भेजती है, तो वो एम्बिशन होती है कि मेरा बच्चा जाएगा और कुछ पढ़कर आएगा. That feeling, that thought, keep that in mind. It is my fervent prayer that you be successful, that you find spiritual happiness and spiritual strength, and I give you my best, 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 special loving blessing for success in bandagi. Khana vadan, khana vadan, khana vadan. आपने देखा कि इमाम की क्या ख्वाहिश है हम गरीबों के लिए. इंशाल्लाह Imam's ख्वाहिश, wish, prayers will work for us. There is another matter that I want to explain to my spiritual children. Pay attention to this one, because the question that comes from this paragraph. There is another matter that I want to explain to my spiritual children. Because murid in the past have come to Imam and they have said, Hazrat Imam, we have failed, we are unhappy, and are we doing something wrong? मौला बाबा फरमाते हैं कि एक और बात मैं आपसे करना चाहता हूं और आपको समझाना चाहता हूं कि माजी में कभी कभार कुछ मुरीद आते हैं और कहते हैं, या मौला बाबा हम नाकाम हो गए हैं अपने इसमें आजम को पूरा करने में और हम नाखुश है इस इसमें आजम से जो आपने हमें इनायत किया है. तो क्या हम कुछ गलती कर रहे हैं, हमारे बंदगी इसमें आजम को पढ़ने में कुछ गलती हो रही है हमसे. Let's see what Imam says to that. And I have sought to explain to those murids that the word failure does not apply to बंदगी. मौला फरमाते हैं कि मैंने उनको एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की है, समझाने की कोशिश की है कि जब हम बंदगी की बात करते हैं उसके अंदर नाकामी का कोई वर्ड है ही नहीं, नाकामी का कोई चांस नहीं है, नाकामी की कोई सोच नहीं है. नाकामी और बंदगी एक दूसरे से अलग है. आप बंदगी के साथ नाकामी के वर्ड को इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते. The word failure does not rhyme with bandagi. It does not go together. Mullah explains further the concept of failure. It is the concept of not being successful, of therefore not being happy. Don't apply that to bandagi. When you say I have failed, I'm not successful, and if you apply that to your bandagi, then that is not correct. Because those two words does not go rhyme with bandagi. It doesn't. Because there is no failure. Just sitting in the bandagi itself is a part of success, part of happiness, part of your ibadat, submission, following, kurbani. You see, if you are doing exactly what you had promised to Imam, then if you give me this Azam with your blessing and Khanawatan, I will sit in Ibadat. Because that's all we can do. Everything else is not in our hand. What is in your hand? Be regular, punctual, disciplined, and sit in Ibadat. हमारे हाथ में नहीं है कि हम कामयाब हो गए या नाकाम हो गए. हमारे हाथ में क्या है कि हम रेगुलरली प्यार और मोहब्बत के साथ कुर्बानी दे अपनी नींद की और इबादत में बैठे हैं. बस ये हमारे हाथ में है. एवरीथिंग एल्स इज इन हिज हैंड. बाकी सब उसके हाथ में है, उस पर छोड़ दे आप. इन अदर वर्ड, just sitting in ibadat is a success itself, blessing itself. Then how can you say I have failed? Because there is no failure. आप फेल नहीं हो सकते हैं क्योंकि बैठना ही कामयाबी की निशानी है. Let's move forward. Mullah said, don't apply that to the ibadat, bandagi. The fact of rising in the morning, taking time which others devote to sleep, and sitting in bandagi for the search of spiritual enlightenment, that in itself should be a source of happiness, a source of joy. It is a blessing. It is a blessing. Do we see that? Because while others are sleeping, we are giving as per our promise, the sleep, the time, we are giving that qurbani by waking it up. That itself should show how blessed you are that you are able to wake up. Regardless of time, you are waking up. Even when you are tired, you are waking up. Because Imam had given you something and you had promised something back to him. That part itself, the part of the giving up your sleep, giving that qurbani of the time, should be a source of happiness, source of joy, source of blessing. हमें क्या करना है? हम गरीब और नाचीज हम क्या कर सकते हैं? We don't have in our hand कि नूर यहाँ पड़ा है हम ले लेवे. It's not in our hand that Noor is sitting there, we're going to just take it. It's not in our hand. So what do? We do what we can do and leave rest to him. It is in his hand to show you, to give you, to bless you. It is in our hand to wake up, sit, and recite our bowl. You see, we do our part, he will do his part. Remember this one principle to live by. Do not worry about things which we do not control. Make this a principle of your life. We do not worry about things which we do not control. And you can apply this to anything in your life. In return, you will be happy. जिस चीज पर हमारा इख्तियार नहीं है, जो चीज हमारे हाथ में नहीं है, हम क्यों उसकी फिक्र करें? वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. ये एक ऐसा कुलिया है, अगर आप अपनी जिंदगी पर उसको अप्लाई करते हैं, आप हमेशा खुश रहेंगे. क्योंकि जो चीज आप नहीं कर सकते वो नहीं कर सकते, बस खत्म. आपने कोशिश की, बस हो गया. You see, that's the principle that we live by. Let's come further. If you sit in bandagi and you have not actually received the light, that should not disturb you. It should not disturb you. Because your part was to sit in the bandagi. You should not and you cannot worry about things which is not in your hand, in your control. You don't control when and how and where you will receive the light. It should not bother you. It should not disturb you. You have not made a mistake because you do not command when that light will come to you. देखा आपने? आप हुक्म नहीं कर सकते हैं कि भाई मेरी इबादत में बैठा तो मेरे को आज लाइट चाहिए. You cannot command, you cannot force, you cannot demand that because I'm sitting in ibadat today, I should have light today. You cannot do that, right? It's not in your hand. Then don't let it disturb you. Don't let it bother you. You are searching for it. You are seeking it. But you cannot control or command when it comes to you. Does this align with what we just talked and understood? Imam's word, right? It aligns with our thought today. जो हमने सोचा और जो मौलाना ने फरमान किया, अब एक लाइन पर है हम दोनों। इमाम ने क्या फरमाया और हमने क्या सीख लिया, वो एक लाइन पर आ गया। नाउ विद दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग, सो whether you are successful or not in bandagi, when you sit in bandagi, don't think of failure, don't have unhappy, don't leave unhappy, and remember that you may or you may not be successful. It may happen tomorrow, it may happen in 10 years, it may happen a number of times, it may happen never, not at all. When you sit in a bandagi, don't worry about success, don't worry about failure, don't sit with unhappiness. If you can do that, there is a possibility that tonight is the night. There is a possibility today is the day. There is a possibility that one more time tomorrow, this Noor is yours. That's how close you are to the Noor. But if it doesn't happen, it may happen tomorrow, it may happen next month, next year, 10 years from now. It's not in our hand. What you will be tested upon, counted upon, and accounted for, that did you do your part? That will be the asking. When we go back to him, he will not ask you, did you get my Noor in your life? He will ask you, did you fulfill your promise? Did you do your part? जब हम यहाँ से जाएंगे तो मौला हमको ये नहीं पूछने वाला है कि आप इबादत में सक्सेसफुल हुए थे कि नहीं हुए थे, आपको दीदार हुआ था कि नहीं हुआ था। मौला आपको ये जरूर पूछेंगे कि क्या आपने अपना वादा पूरा किया था, क्या आपने हर वो कोशिश की थी जिसके लिए आपने मुझसे वादा किया था कि मैं उठूंगा, मैं वक्त पर उठूंगा, मैं प्यार और मोहब्बत के साथ अपने इसमें आजम को जापूंगा। That was your promise. Did you do that? आपका वो जरूर हिसाब किताब होगा। ये नहीं कि आप सक्सेसफुल थे कि नॉट सक्सेसफुल थे, क्योंकि वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है। हाँ, उस दिन आप इमाम से जरूर पूछ सकते हैं कि या मौला तूने क्यों मुझे दीदार नहीं दिया, मेरी क्या गलती हुई थी, क्या मैं उस दीदार के लिए रेडी नहीं था। ये जरूर आप मौला को पूछ सकते हैं, लेकिन मौला आपसे नहीं पूछने वाले हैं कि तुम क्यों दीदार लेकर नहीं आए इधर, why were you not successful. Imam will not ask you that, but he will surely account for that, that did you fulfill your promise, did you do what you had promised, did you do your part, because that is in our hand. And remember that you may or you may not be successful. It may come tomorrow, it may come 10 years, it may come number of time, or it may not come at all. That is not a matter over which you have any control. उसके ऊपर आपका कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है. What you do have control over is that, first of all, you be regular. You be regular in your bandagi. See, you have control over that. Secondly, that you not think of being unsuccessful because there is no failure in the bandagi. Second, आप नहीं सोच रहे हैं कि मैं कामयाब हूं कि नाकामयाब हूं, क्योंकि आपका उसके ऊपर कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है. I repeat, there is no failure. So don't confuse worldly concept of success and failure with spiritual concept of search, of happiness, of commitment. कामयाबी और नाकामयाबी जिस्म से ताल्लुक है, दुनिया से उसका ताल्लुक है, इसका कोई ताल्लुक इबादत बंदगी, सबमिशन, इताअत, मोहब्बत, उससे कोई इसका ताल्लुक नहीं है. So don't think that, but do be regular in your ibadat. Be regular in your ibadat. Be punctual, disciplined, because those are in your hand. Everything else, leave it to him. Leave it to him. They are not the same thing. And don't apply a thinking of process of material world to spiritual matter of the soul. आप ऐसा ना सोचे कि मैं दुनिया के अंदर हाथ बढ़ाकर पानी का ग्लास लेकर पी लेता हूं, तो I can do the same thing in my spiritual endeavor. Because physical, worldly endeavor are different than spiritual matter. Don't confuse them and combine them together. Yeah, if you're thirsty, physically you can reach out and you can take the glass and drink. But that is not how it goes in the spiritual matter. Spiritual matter are not physical matter. Don't mix them up. Don't confuse those two matter. So the final lesson was that you be regular, be disciplined, sit in ibadat with the love. And now with the understanding how, then Imam says, it is my ambition, it is my wish, it is my prayer that at least once or even more than once you will have this light in your heart. It will touch you. But be happy with what you are doing. Be happy with that. Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. And Mullah, this Farman ends over here. Inshallah, next week when we come back, we will continue to read more Faramin. Inshallah Ta'ala. G, do we have any comments or question? Anything that this Garib and Nachis have failed to explain? Please do ask.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, sir. Sir, we don't have any questions in the chat, but if any friends have any questions, please unmute your device.
So there was one question from last week at the very end, after we had said Yali Madad, somebody was asking. So while you are thinking of other questions, there one of the lady, one of our sister had asked that because I am not well or not able to go to Jamaat Khana, what should I do? That answer Imam in his own Farman has actually answered. And that is, as long as your niyat is for the bandagi, wake up. Sit in bandagi. Your niyat was for the bandagi. You want or you wanted to go to the Jamaat Khana, but because you are sick or for whatever reason unable to go to Jamaat Khana, that is not the reason to give up your bandagi. Wake up, be regular and be disciplined in your ibadat. Wake up and sit in bandagi. Fulfill your promise to the Imam. मैं इसको उर्दू में भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकता हूँ. हमारी एक बहन ने पूछा कि अगर मैं बीमार हूं और किसी वजह से जमात खाने नहीं जा सकती हूँ तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए. नाचीज का ये जवाब है इसके लिए, अकॉर्डिंग टू इमाम फरमान, कि आप अपनी इबादत में रेगुलर रहें. डोंट गिव अप योर इबादत बिकॉज यू कैन नॉट गो टू जमात खाना. अगर आप जमात से नहीं जा सकते हैं तो इसका मतलब नहीं है कि आप इबादत को छोड़ दें. इबादत रेगुलरली करनी है, डिसिप्लिन के साथ करनी है, बाकायदगी से करनी है. आप उठें, नियत करें और इबादत में बैठे. इबादत को ना छोड़ें कि आज मैं जमात करने नहीं जाता हूं तो आज मैं इबादत नहीं करूंगा. बिकॉज इफ यू डू दैट वन टाइम then it will multiply. It will multiply. Next thing you will know, you forgot your ibadat. Don't give up your ibadat. Try to go. If you cannot go, be regular in your ibadat. Do wake up. Don't give up your ibadat. That is more important, that you do the niyat of the ibadat and then sit in ibadat. उसको ना छोड़े आप, क्योंकि बीमारी है, कोई वजह है, हम जमात करने नहीं जा सकते हैं. कभी कभार 2 साल के लिए जमात करना बंद होता है. We cannot give up our ibadat. Ibadat is must. Don't give up that. So I hope this will help you. Inshallah, Allah is great and merciful. He will accept your ibadat, your niyat, your ibadat. Inshallah. Ji.
So we have a question in the chat. So friends asking, like Mullah Hazimam said in many Farman, that if you are not well, you don't practice bandagi. So the question is mental illness like depression, anxiety included in this illness? Or Mullah Hazimam is saying about physical illness?
Okay, very good question. So I will explain in English and Urdu both, because this does concern all of us. So Mullah Baba has given some guidelines, especially when woman is pregnant, expecting, when you are in traveling and cannot keep up with the time, because when you're flying from one continent to other, that 4 o'clock doesn't mean anything because you are just running against the time. If you are sick, if your mind is not there, then only at that time, Imam said, if you cannot, it doesn't mean that you should not, but if you cannot, then it's okay to rest and get well. And that includes all kind of illness. Because if your mind is not there, how will you sit in ibadat? So what is more important now? To get well. But I wanted to talk about this mental illness or depression. Matter of fact, if you are in depression, that gives you more reason to remember him, more reason to sit in ibadat, more reason to come close to you so he can heal you. Ibadat will heal you. Ibadat will help you get better. आपने देखा, आपका माइंडसेट क्या है? अगर आप बीमार हैं और नहीं कर सकते हैं तो मौला ने हमें छुट्टी दी है, लेकिन अगर आपको कोई परेशानी है तो उसमें तो आपको ज्यादा इबादत करनी चाहिए. ज्यादा तजवीज करनी चाहिए ताकि आप इमाम के नूर के करीब आए और उसका नूर आपको स्ट्रेंथ दे, हिम्मत दे और आपको क्योर कर दे, आपको शिफा बख्शे. There will be even better excuse to do ibadat. You see, it's all about mindset. How do we think? In that case, you should be doing even more ibadat. More ibadat. But if you can't, you can't. Imam have given you leave away. Ji.
So don't have any question yet in the chat. Friend, please unmute your device if you have any question.
Yeah, Aziz Bhai, can you actually explain about Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim when you talked about Alif Ra and Alif Ram?
Okay,
Please.
so yes, thank you for your question. I can explain a little bit here. In tomorrow's QA session, actually our second question was about Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. But today my brother is asking me about the language, how is written. So we were talking about Arabic way of writing thing. And if you look at the Quran, Surah Fatiha, you will see how it is written. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim with the R sound. But you can also write Al-Rahman Al-Rahim, or you can also write just Rahman and just Rahim. So there are three ways you can write Ar, Al, or without Al and Ar both. That's Arabic way of speaking. And that also it is the how we pronounce things. For example, Ar-Rasul. But if you are not combining those two words, you can just say Ar-Rasul. Ar-Rasul. It's depending on how you are speaking, combining words. You know, for example, Hazirae Kudus. So there sound A in the middle. Hazirae Kudus. Because if you are saying it combinedly, you have to put that E in the middle. Otherwise, you can say Hazira Kudus, the higher place. That's the Arabic language we were talking about. And Mullah Baba was showing at the time of their Ismi Azam giving that you may write it this way, but you can speak it this way. So there is different way of writing and different way of speaking. That's what said. When it comes to the Rahman and Rahim meaning, we have that question for tomorrow. There was a question number 2, which was we were not able to cover last week. We will come to that tomorrow. Thank you. G.
Aziz Bhai, Yali Madad. Now, if I were to write my ball in other language than Arabic, is it okay or it is not okay to do that?
It's perfectly fine. What was the purpose of writing the Ismi Azam? To engage our mind and eyes to concentrate, correct? If
Yes.
that is the case, then language doesn't matter. G.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So we have the question in the chat. Friends asking, to have hope for Didar, is this the same as having hope for Didar? I think friends asking when Azmam says that Hazima mentioned the greed.
Hope is different than greed. What is greed? I must have. What is hope? I hope I may have. You see, our needs, we are like children, right? I must have candy. May I please have a candy? There's a difference in how we ask. Hoping for didar is a good sign. Having greed for the didar is a bad sign. जब हम उम्मीद करते हैं तो उससे हमें खुशी पैदा होती है, हमें उम्मीद होती है किसी चीज की। लेकिन जब हम लालच करते हैं तो वो अनहैप्पीनेस लाती है। When we are greedy and don't get, it will bring you unhappiness. When you are hopeful and don't get, you will continue to have a hope of having didar. Hope, good. Greed, not good. Greed will take you the wrong way. Good question. Thank you.
Sir, we have another question. So does the meaning or emotion change when you use al or before Rahman?
Well, it's all dependent on what Imam has given you. If Imam has given you Ar-Rahman, use that. If Imam has given you Al-Rahman, use that. If Imam only have given you Rahman, use that. Because whatever Ismi Azam in the way, in the shape and the form Imam has given you, that is the correct way of reciting Ismi Azam. Now, if you are talking about the language part, the tasbih part, then al makes something superior, particular compared to ar. Ar is normally used as a friend, as someone who's close to you. Compared to al, greatest, highest, gives that elevation to the ism. Rahman, al-Rahman. Rahman, common. Al-Rahman, particular. You see, Arabic language is a very amazing language. That how you say changes the meaning and the understanding of a word. G.
So we have another question. Can I say my bowl in English and switch between Arabic and English during Bandagi?
I'm confused by that question. Are you talking about the translation? Please rephrase your question. Are you talking about translation? Because there is no English bowl. There is only Arabic bowl. Please rephrase your question.
Okay, so we don't have any question in the chat. Friends, please unmute your device.
याली मदद
याली मदद।
अच्छा मेरे को एक ज्ञान नहीं रहता है तो मैं मेरे घर में मेरा एक ज्ञान करने के लिए मैं कुछ योगा करता हूँ तो योगा करने के बाद मेरा एक ज्ञान होता है तो ये मेरे लिए मेरे साथ मिस कर सकता हूँ मिस करने का मतलब ये मेरा
जो भी आपके लिए आसानी है क्योंकि इमाम ने हमको तस्वीयात दी है, इमाम ने हमको बहुत सारे तरीके इनायत फरमाए हैं। तस्बियात और गिरियाजारी हमारे दाइयों और पीरों का तरीका था इबादत में बैठने का। अब आपको क्या करना है वो तो इंडिविजुअल है, कि आपको किस तरह से क्या करना है वो तो एक आपके ऊपर है, ना कि कोई आपको बोल सकता है कि आप ये करें या वो करें। लेकिन हम सिर्फ ये देख सकते हैं कि हमारे दाइयों और पीरों ने क्या किया था। हमारे दाइयों और पीरों ने तस्बीहात और गिरियावजारी का सहारा लिया था। जी, any other comments, question? We are on the top of 1 hour.
Hello, Yali Madat ALWAAZ side.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
I'm Tasmin Jamal speaking from Kenya.
जी,
I'm just thinking about the question which came along about Isme Azam, the ball, if we say it in English or Arabic. And I remembered one thing over the years as I've read and learned about practice of our faith, that, in the past, when I was very young, I used to use translation as an understanding because I don't know Arabic. Although we learned a dua in Arabic. Then I learned that Arabic has got a very mystic and unique explanation when our prayers are recited in Arabic, because there's a mystical meaning that with every letter in Arabic in Quran al-Sharif, each time you recite, for every letter an angel pops down to come and protect you. So yes, we can use translation to understand the meaning because we don't know the language, but I think we should learn the Isme Azam, the whole practice of our faith, as the Imam has taught us in Arabic, as he expects us to, because there's but only a reason for it which we may not even understand, but the blessings are always there. Sorry, તમે same છે કે I speak in
जी,
English? I was too
हाँ,
fast.
नहीं, તમે સમજી ગયો, હું બિલકુલ સમજી ગયો. તો
Was I too
મારો
fast?
કહેવાનો મતલબ એ છે કે જ્યાં તક જી ભાઈએ આપણાથી ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછ્યો या जीबी બેને આપણાથી ક્વેશ્ચન પૂછ્યો, I was going to let her explain what she meant by asking question, and I do not like to answer the question when I don't understand the question, right? So I would ask Zinat, the one who was asking, that please rephrase your question. Are you talking about translation or are you talking about anything else? Once she asks that question, by rephrasing it, I will be happy to get engaged and answer the question in the right manner. Thank you for your
But
comment. I appreciate that. Yes.
But on the other hand, ALWAAZ side, am I correct with my understanding or I'm making a mistake? Even I'm not sure. Only you
Okay.
can guide me because you know me.
Okay. Thank you so much for your kind words. I remember I'm just poor and nobody. Let's use Imam's word and Farman to understand that. Translation or understanding of the dua, of the bowl, or anything of the Faramin. So for example, we may have a translation of the Farman. So I'm going to use and I'm going to compare. So Mala Baba gives Farman in English, sometime in French. Sultan Muhammad Shah had given Faramin in Persian, English, Urdu, sometime even in Gujarati. And he had used the word differently. But when the Faramin are translated into whichever language, so what Mola Baba has said, and that's what we need to follow. Always try, and this is 1967, 1968 Farman of Hazrat Imam. Always try to learn things in its original language. 50% of your question has been answered by Imam's Farman. Always try to learn things in its original language. That answers a lot of our question. Now let's come to the dua and Isme Azam. We have a dua in Arabic And there are children, and there are more Ismailis now by marriage who does not speak Urdu, does not speak Arabic, does not speak Persian, meaning those three languages which are very close to the language of our dua, but they have never spoken that. So there are translation available, and there are Jamaat Khanas, actual Jamaat Khanas, where dua is recited in English translation. So what they do is they encourage those who speak English only, for example, or Gujarati only, for example, that yes, to understand dua, go into the language that you understand. But try to recite the dua in its original language. When it comes to Isme Azam is only one single word. And the hardest Isme Azam, like Al-Wahidul Kahar, is not easy for everyone to learn. So what you do initially, you understand the meaning of it, translation of it, in whatever language, English, French, Gujarati, Swahili, whatever language is your language. But then, the reason we encourage everyone to write it down, you can do transliteration. Al-Wahidul Kahar. You can write that in English, but you still be saying Al-Wahidul Kahar. Transliteration using the English alphabets. You see, even the alphabets are English because you cannot read Arabic, but when you speak, it would be Al-Wahidul Kahar. You see that? So we are here to help whoever needs help in whichever small or large way, to give them the understanding how can we make it easier for you to remember your Isme Azam. And this is how this Garib and Nachis can help. And this is according to Imam's Farman, the words the Imam has used, because Imam has guided us. So inshallah, this answer Sasim's question and query, and this answers Zina's question and query. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure if I can help. Thank you so much for a great conversation. Any other comments or question, my friend, my brother, my sisters? All right, if not, we can stop here. Thank you everyone for joining. We will see you all tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you everyone. Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you and Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Thank you.
Ya
Thank
Ali
you.
Madad.
Thank
Ya
you,
Ali
Ya
Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ali Madad. Thank you, sir.
Ya
Ya
Ali
Ali Madad.
Madad. Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Yani Madad, sir. Shukran,
Ya Ali
shukran.
Madad. Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad, sir.
Ya Ali Madad. Ya Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad. Thank you so much.
Yani Madad, Aziz bhai.
Ali Madad, everybody.
Mola Ali Madad.
Mola Ali Madad.